Is your little one stuttering? Well, today we're going to be talking about stuttering. We're going to be talking about questions you can ask and then also things that you can do to help your child speak more fluently. Don't go away. Hey, welcome back to Lingaroo, where language comes to life. Guys, today we're going to be talking about this idea of stuttering. I will tell you, if you've found this, if you've searched for this video and found it because you're concerned that your little one is starting to stutter, you're not alone. This is one of the most frequent questions I get asked in the clinic. I'm always receiving phone calls of parents who are saying, well, my child is doing this and he's starting to stutter, and I'm concerned that he's being more disfluent than he is fluent, or whatever the case may be. So they call me with these questions, and so I just thought, let's do a video about this, because I know there are a lot of parents like you who are concerned that your child is stuttering. Today we're going to be talking about some questions to ask if you are concerned. We're going to be talking about just a few of the risk factors. And then we're going to be talking about some things you can do within your everyday environment to kind of set up the environment to foster or to encourage fluent speech. So as we get started today, we're going to start with just some questions that you can ask. I will tell you, a lot of this information is coming from the Stuttering Foundation. It's one of the best resources online. I put a link in the show description down below. Parents, if you're concerned, go to this website. They have a lot of free resources for you. If you're a child who's stuttering or an older child who's stuttering, they have resources for you as well, or an adult who stutters. I mean, this website is fabulous, and so you're going to want to check it out. But if you're concerned about your little one, one of the biggest questions you need to look at is, when did this start, right? Did it start before the age of 3.5? If so, that's a good indication that it's probably going to be what we would consider developmental stuttering, right? There are some other questions that we're going to ask to kind of tweeze that out, but developmental stuttering, as we like to think about it, is very common. Researchers think it's kind of a perfect storm, right, of kiddos as they're acquiring more and more language, and they're trying to get more and more language out and communicate their message more clearly to their parents or to siblings or whoever it may be. There's this load, right? There's this conversation load between this battle between what they want to say and how quickly they're able to process and program everything and get everything moving in the right direction to actually say it. And you will start to see some syllable repetitions or some part word repetitions, typically 2, maybe 3, where they're like, I, and it's more of, in that case, more of a placeholder. Right? And we've talked about that here at Lingaroo. We've talked about kind of that competition for the floor and who's talking and who's got the floor and who gets it next. And so we see that a lot. We see that as little kids are developing their language, we see some of this disfluency or some of this stuttering occur between that 3.5 year mark. And another question you could ask is how long has it been going on, right? Has this just started, or has this been going on maybe 6 months, more than 6 months, and kind of gauge that, because that's also going to be an indicator of how much of a problem this could be, and if it's a true stuttering difficulty or a disfluency, or if it's just, like I said, this kind of developmental phase that the child will pass through, and that if it will remediate itself with or without speech therapy on its own. Another thing you're going to want to ask is, are there other behaviors that are going along with it, right? As they're stuttering, are they relaxed in their face, or do you see some groping? Do you see them kind of closing their eyes, maybe blinking their eyes or moving their body? Or are there other physical signs of struggle? Are there other physical signs of what we would consider blocking, where the speech isn't coming out, but there are other parts of their body that are kind of getting involved in the process as well? Along that line, another thing would be to listen for the airflow, right? If the airflow is blocked, and you hear nothing coming out, that's very different type of disfluency than a disfluency where they're just kind of continual I, right? Where the vocal and where the voice and the airflow hasn't been interrupted. The fourth question you might want to ask is, are there other speech and language concerns, right? Are there articulation difficulties? Are there language concerns, right? Or is this stuttering just kind of the only thing, and they've been following directions and they've been adding new words every day, and you really didn't have a concern, and then all of a sudden this started, right? That would be a very different area of concern, or that would be a very different type of difficulty to consider than if they had other problems, if they had other concerns going along with it. If it's just this stutter that just kind of happened overnight, it seems, that would be a very different concern, and we'll approach it in a very different way than if they have other things going on as well. Some other questions you can ask, and this is, again, why this website is very important. They have a chart that they've created about risk factors. You'll want to check that out. Some of the risk factors are family history. If you stutter, or your husband or wife stutters, or if you have a family history, maybe a brother or there's a sibling, one of your other children also has disfluency, those are risk factors, right? Gender, males, little boys are often more likely to stutter than little girls. So there are all of these factors that, again, it's not set in stone. It's not decided already that your child is going to stutter if these things are true. But there are factors that increase the percentage or increase the rate at which a fluency disorder or a fluency difficulty would be diagnosed. Okay, so guys, those are some general questions. Now, kind of what can we do about it, right? The first thing I would say is nothing. I would say give it some time. I would say ignore it. Don't draw attention to it. Act like you're just going on with your day as you're listening to your child, and if they are experiencing a stutter or a disfluency, just let them talk, right? One of the worst things you can do is to make it punitive or call them out or embarrass them or add any type of shame or feelings of pressure or guilt to the situation. So I would say, number one, just ignore it at first and see if it just kind of goes away on its own. Another thing you can do is to slow your rate of speaking down, right? We've talked about this, and again, notice I didn't say tell your child to slow down. Right? That would be back on the first thing I said about don't draw attention to it, right? Anything like that, slow down, get it out, say it again, like anything like that is going to do more harm and be more detrimental to your child than just slowing your rate of speech down and creating a more calm, relaxed environment in which your child can communicate. Okay, so the next thing you're going to want to do is to set up your child to take a turn in the conversation. Let's say you are at the dinner table and you want to hear about their days, right? You want to get the daily check-in, what was good, what was bad, what was your high, what was your low. So you're going to want to go to the child who's having the disfluency and say, okay, Johnny, I want to hear about your day. I'm going to listen to Daddy first, but then I'm going to come back to you. So you're giving him prep time. You're giving him time to think about what he wants to say and to formulate his thoughts and the parts of his day that he wants to talk about. You're going to go to someone else in the group and then come back to him. Another thing you can do is to create spaces where your child can communicate freely and communicate in a place, in a safe place where there are lots of pauses and lots of breaks put in. Okay, Johnny, it's your turn. And you just wait with a smile on your face and you're engaged and not asking a lot of questions. What did you do? Who did you play with? That creates pressure, doesn't it? None of us like to be pressured when we're trying to talk. So just creating open spaces and creating pauses and giving them the freedom to speak freely and to communicate clearly will reduce a lot of that stress and will help increase their fluency. Okay, the fifth thing you can do is just encourage your child and help to build up his confidence or her confidence in and around and outside of speaking, right? What other things are they good at? Are they good at art? Are they a good reader? Do they like books, even if they're not reading yet? Oh, I love how you pour into these books. I love how you look at the pictures. You do such a great job at that, right? Finding ways to praise them, finding ways to encourage them to help build their confidence outside of speech and language, right? We all have things that are difficult for us. Everybody's got something, right? We all have areas that come more easily to us and areas that are more difficult. So you want to find those areas of things your kiddo's really, really good at and build them up in those areas while you're kind of working on this other, but also kind of ignoring it to see if it may go away on its own. Finally, guys, if you are concerned, if you've kind of done this wait and see and watch and see thing for a while, by all means, contact your pediatrician, get a referral for a speech language pathologist. Go to this website, as I said, the Stuttering Foundation, the link's down below, and find these resources. And as always, if you have questions for me specifically, go over to Facebook and find our Facebook group, or email me at jennifer@lingo-ru.com. And if you haven't, subscribe here to this channel, share it with your friends, and check out this video as well. And I'll see you next time here at Lingo-Ru, where language comes to life.